So, how much longer do you plan to reside with your parents? You're not getting any younger, and it's starting to become a bit uncomfortable for the family.
Alexia, we've had this discussion before. I'm not just idling around. I work remotely from home, doing online work.
Remote work? Seriously? That's your usual excuse. But let's be honest, you often appear like you just rolled out of bed. Are you sure you're not secretly gaming all day and using remote work as a cover? You can be honest with us.
I assure you, I'm not gaming as much as you might think. I'm genuinely working, and my job is quite demanding. Yes, sometimes I may not look perfectly put together, but it doesn't affect my work quality, especially since we rarely have video calls.
What's with those glasses? Seriously? Did you buy them from a dollar store? They certainly look like it. If you were really working for a respectable company, you'd probably wear nicer ones.
Why does it matter? They serve their purpose. They're not dollar store glasses, but I don't need fancy ones for remote work. It's not about fashion. It's about functionality, especially since I work from home.
Well, without concrete proof, it's hard to know if you're genuinely working or just taking advantage. You could show me some of your work, but you might fake that too. I've made up my mind. You fit the image of a slacker perfectly, right down to your unkempt appearance and morning slippers.
Well, if that's what you think, there's not much I can do to change your mind. As long as I can cover my expenses and take care of myself, I'm content. But what about you, Alexia? You left your job, right? What have you been up to since then? From what I've heard, it's a lot of online shopping and spending time with friends.
Since leaving my job, I've been focused on preparing for married life. Unlike you, I found someone special. Your brother and I make a great couple, and he's committed to supporting me.
So, your plan is to become a stay-at-home wife? You don't want to work anymore? Frankly, I think that's a risky choice, especially considering who you married.
What do you mean? Arthur, I wouldn't speak ill of my own brother. Arthur is a responsible individual. He has a good job and is making something of himself. Maybe you should get out more and catch some sun. It might lift your spirits, or is your home just too cozy to leave?
It's not jealousy. It's about responsibility. Arthur has a history of job troubles, and there's a chance it might happen again. He struggles with meeting deadlines and handling customer information. He claims it's too complex. Can we rely on someone like that?
Are you envious because he has a stable job? Unlike you, he's making strides in his career. If I were in your shoes, I might feel a bit envious too.
I'm not envious. But hey, Alexia, what do you know about working anyway? Do you have much work experience?
Don't you remember when we first met? I shared my career background. I worked in customer service and for a food and beverage company. Now I'm happily married and don't need to work.
Oh, right. I remember now. Was it in a shoe store? I never bought shoes from there. It's quite budget-friendly, you know?
I only worked there briefly. I also worked in guest services at the information desk. It was a stable job, and I managed to save a lot of money. But that's not the point. What I'm trying to say is your current situation isn't ideal for your family. You're nearly 41 and still living with your parents. Have you ever considered how unusual that is?
If I moved out, it would be challenging for them. I'm here to support and take care of them.
Well, they might not want a person with messy hair taking up space in their house. Honestly, Kara, you're a burden to them. It might be easier if you gave them some space.
I doubt I can change your perspective on this. Anyway, I'm going on a trip tomorrow.
Oh, really? How long will you be gone?
If you can help out at the house while I'm away, I'd appreciate it.
I'll handle it. The family might enjoy having me take care of things for a change.
Great, Alexia.
2 weeks later.
Hey, Alexia. I'm back at the house. Where is everyone? It's completely empty in here.
You're back from your trip already? You must have been surprised to find this big old house completely empty, huh?
Well, it does make sense that not everyone's here. But where's all our stuff? Everything's disappeared. Since you were supposed to look after the house, I thought you might know what's going on.
I bet you're pretty shocked, right? Like, what's someone without a job like you going to do when the family supporting them suddenly disappears?
Could you please update me on the current situation? Did you have any involvement in my family's disappearance?
Yes, that's correct. I suspected you might have had your eyes on their retirement funds, so I took matters into my own hands. Believe me, Kara, you'll appreciate this in the long run. You can't keep living like this.
What on earth are you talking about, Alexia? This is absolutely absurd. Your actions are way out of line.
No need to feign ignorance. I know what's going on, and I won't hesitate to confront you about it.
Why are you suddenly fixated on my parents' retirement money? Do you think I'm taking advantage of them by staying at their house?
Just accept it. Your free ride has come to an end. I'm tired of watching you leech off your parents.
Can you at least hear me out? You've completely misunderstood the situation. So, what's your plan now?
Well, while you were away, I took it upon myself to relocate your family. Hopefully, this will encourage you to stand on your own 2 feet.
You did what?
I moved your family, Kara. I hope you can find your own path, as I really don't want to see you anymore.
All right, did my parents consent to this? Were they truly fine with leaving without any say in the matter?
Are you kidding? They were ecstatic about it. Now that you're out of the picture, I'll be taking care of them. I've got it under control.
Oh, really? Well, thank you then. I suppose I have nothing left to do here. You can just leave me be.
Yep, that's pretty much it. Please don't reach out to me anymore.
All right then. Goodbye.
4 weeks later.
Hey, sis. It's been a while. How have you been? By the way, we're thinking about moving back into the old family home. The idea of living together again, isn't that intriguing?
Who are you?
It's Alexia. You don't even recognize your own sister-in-law? How forgetful.
About a month ago, you explicitly told me never to contact you again. What's with this sudden change?
Well, we are family after all, so perhaps cutting off contact was a bit impulsive on my part. Anyway, I wanted to let you know that we're planning to move back into the house. It was a tough decision, but I believe it's best for the family.
I'm sorry, but that's not possible. After you relocated my family, I legally became the owner of the house. I was the one handling the bills, and I managed to keep them paid. However, after careful consideration, I decided to list the house for sale, and it's already been sold. Well, it turns out the house is no longer available. Even if it hadn't been sold, I wouldn't have agreed to it.
Why on earth would you do that? Are you out of your mind? You have no right to make that decision. That house belongs to our family.
Besides, the house originally belonged to my family for many years. You don't have a say in this, Alexia. It was too large for just one person, and the upkeep and maintenance were incredibly challenging. So, I made the decision to sell it.
You sold the house? Okay, then where are you living now? Could we all live together as a family again?
Why would I share that information with you, considering your recent feelings towards me? What's the real reason behind all this sudden interest?
I need to be honest with you, sis. We're struggling to pay the rent where we're staying.
Struggling with rent? What's the cause of this financial difficulty?
It's because of your parents.
My parents? What are you talking about?
Don't act like you're unaware. You know how they can be. Your mom keeps buying unnecessary items from shopping channels, and these bills arrive almost every week. And your dad? He's been going to the casino frequently, spending days there. I tried to limit his visits to once a month, but he doesn't listen.
They can certainly be quite a handful, can't they? That's why I appreciated it when you decided to take care of them. You're doing me a favor, sis.
Stop kidding around. This is a serious matter. How did things get so out of control? And how did you manage to afford the house?
I was the one covering the house expenses. While my parents were living there, I handled most of the financial responsibilities. Without my contributions, they would never have been able to keep the house. Like you said, they can be irresponsible with money.
What? It doesn't make sense.
You really haven't been listening, have you? As I mentioned before, I have a remote job with a company, and I'm in a managerial position.
What? So you've been the one footing the bills all this time?
Yes, that's how we managed to hold on to the house, as I explained earlier.
I understand now, Kara. That must have been incredibly challenging, balancing work and taking care of our parents. I can't even imagine.
You've changed so much. By the way, how is my brother? I haven't spoken to him in ages.
It appears the company he joined isn't the most reliable. They even withheld 1 month's pay due to attendance issues. How are we supposed to get by without a full month's worth of his salary?
You seem rather oblivious, don't you? Arthur frequently skips work to visit the pier. He seems to have inherited our father's penchant for that place. There are numerous sports gambling bookies down there, and it's not the first time he's missed work because of it. I wouldn't be surprised if his gambling is the reason he lost his current job as well.
What? He should have confided in me about this. He's my husband and we're supposed to share everything. Tell me the truth, Kara. What's really happening here?
He's probably just too ashamed to discuss these matters with you. As for his current job, I'm not entirely sure. But I wouldn't be shocked if he's merely pretending to go to work each morning.
This is unbelievable, Kara. If what you're saying is true, how can I ever trust him again? He even told me he was working for a reputable company and claimed to be one of their top earners.
No, that's not the case at all. I'm fairly certain he had a temporary job for a few months, but they didn't retain him. They cited a lack of experience as the reason.
A temporary job? Seriously? Wait, if he's currently unemployed, does that mean none of us in the household have jobs?
It does seem that way, doesn't it? It turns out my family members are the ones struggling to maintain employment, not me. They tend to spend money recklessly.
You knew about this all along, didn't you? You should have informed me sooner. If I had known, I could have taken steps to address the situation. What's really going on, Kara?
When I was living with them, I tried to help. I even arranged counseling for my parents and encouraged them to join support groups for their addiction issues. I remember inviting you a few times, but you always claimed to be too busy, so we never really discussed it. It seemed like you always had a problem with me, and our communication was quite limited.
Yes, you did invite me, but I had other responsibilities to attend to.
Oh, really? Then why was the house often messy when we returned? If I recall correctly, you were watching TV in your pajamas.
That was just one time. I usually kept the house in perfect order. I managed things quite efficiently. Kara?
I must respectfully disagree with you on this matter. It was my mom and me who ended up shouldering the majority of the cleaning duties, just as you had requested. Your contribution was rather minimal.
I had recently quit my job, perhaps seeking some well-deserved leisure time, all right?
It would be beneficial if you viewed the situation objectively, Alexia. You entered our home, relied on us for support, and look where it has led you. It's not an ideal situation, is it?
Fine. Whatever. I admit it was a lapse in judgment on my part. I understand. But we need to address this, sis. You wouldn't turn your back on family, would you?
Well, considering I felt abandoned myself, it's somewhat ironic, isn't it? Let me ask you a straightforward question. Did you genuinely believe that my brother alone could financially support our entire family? Or did you intend to return to your previous job at the mall to cover our expenses?
Well, given the circumstances, it seems I may have to return to that job. Yes, that's right. As long as I have that job, we should manage.
Really? You know what's intriguing? I had a friend who worked at that mall. They were close with the guest services manager.
Yeah? What did they say?
Well, they mentioned that you were often on your phone, even when there were customers around. They were actually relieved when you left. That's what they told me, at least. but I suppose they might consider rehiring you. It's worth a shot.
This isn't how I envisioned my life going. I thought I'd be a stay-at-home wife, then have kids and move to a nice neighborhood.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Kara, please help me. You're the only one I can turn to right now. Your family is too much for me to handle.
Sorry, it's up to you now.
Don't abandon me, remember? We're family.
Again, you were the one who left me in the first place. There's not much I can do now. You've got to admit, it's ironic how things have turned out. A person who despises laziness now finds herself surrounded by nothing but people like that. You brought this upon yourself, Alexia. Deal with it and see if I care.
Afterwards,
After some time, Alexia uncovered the truth about her husband's significant gambling debt, as well as his father's similar financial issues. His mother also had accrued substantial credit card debt due to unchecked online shopping. Alexia found herself at a crossroads. She attempted to rejoin her previous workplace, but it appeared they were not keen on rehiring her due to her prior unfavorable impression. Later, she secured a job as a waitress at a local restaurant. It was a bustling establishment, and the work was demanding, with just enough income to make ends meet. However, she had no other viable options. As for me, I continued to nurture my online business and eventually purchased a lovely house. It was a great relief to distance myself from the troublesome family and my irksome sister-in-law. Thank you for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and hitting the subscribe button below.